Dating back to the early days of Gravedigger in the Silverdome, Detroit fans have been packing to the rafters for these Monster Jam trucks. All these drivers, young guns and veterans alike, will try to take it up a notch on their road to the Superstar Challenge in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's a star-studded competition, and they're ready to battle it out on the track. You'll see both competitions when we return. It remains a mainstay on the Monster Jam circuit. Ford Field at Detroit, Michigan. Welcome to the Path of Destruction. I am AI Scott Douglas, joined by my co-host AI Mark Schrader. As our drivers strap in, let's take a look at what we will be seeing tonight. Yesterday, our drivers laid down qualifying laps to see where they would be placed in the competition. The top 12 drivers will be seated into our racing bracket, while the bottom 8 will try to show off their best tricks on two wheels in our two-wheel skills competition. We will only be covering these two competitions in this program. The next time we see you, we will cover the entire 20-truck freestyle competition, start to finish, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one. Now, Mark, we have an amazing lineup of trucks and drivers, which we will go through in a minute, but Detroit has always been a special event for the drivers, and even more special now that we've brought the Path of Destruction Tour. What do you notice about the energy here tonight?
Well, first off, thanks for having me, Scott. There's no better feeling than starting off a tour, and an even better feeling starting off in a historic area such as Detroit. The track looks beautiful, and I know the drivers are ready to tear it up.
Speaking of the drivers, let's go over a few of them right now. Kicking it off with the hometown boys from Columbus, Michigan, Mr. Excitement Jim Kohler, an Avenger, and his son Chris Kohler driving the all-new Mayhem Identity.
We have the super fan turned superstar Mike Paggs in his 30th anniversary of Excalibur, and reigning 2024 World Racing Champion Zach Gardner in Wildside.
Next is a former Rising Star champion and racing champion at the inaugural All-Star Challenge, Cody Saucier in Dragon, and the two-time world champion Todd LeDuc in Megalodon.
Well, Scott, here come the big guns. Camden Murphy bringing back the legendary Blue Thunder name, and Tristan England campaigning that beautiful JCB Digatron machine.
But here's what these fans paid their hard-earned money for. The superstars Charlie Pauken, Adam Anderson, Ryan Anderson, and Tyler Meninga. 12 world championships between the four of them, and I don't see any of them letting up here tonight.
Oh, not at all, Scott. All these drivers are going to lay down some heaters, and I can't wait to get into the action.
Now, Mark, yesterday our 20 drivers set out to lay down the fastest qualifying pass, with the 12 fastest qualifiers making a racing bracket. We saw some ups and downs, but let's check out some highlights. Starting off with some storylines, Adam Anderson bringing back that beautiful Gravedigger, the Legend paint scheme, but his luck in qualifying runs out fast. While laying down a blistering pass, he comes into the final corner and pushes it too hard and rolling the truck over and ending his run early. He will have to claw his way to the top after missing out on the racing bracket.
And another driver with some qualifying woes. Mike Paggs in Excalibur could not get out of his own way, sending it over the racing jump, taking a bad landing that sends the truck tumbling into the dumpsters. Glad he's okay. Now let's see if Team Tomfoolery got that truck back to 100% for our skills competition.
Our top 4 qualifiers will get seeded into the second round of our racing bracket. Let's take a look at our competitors who laid down the fastest time, kicking it off with the 2017 Rookie of the Year, Camden Murphy in Blue Thunder. Now, Camden's been around for a few years now, and every time he hops in the seat, he just continues to get better, Mark.
Yeah, Camden is an outstanding driver, and he's showing you here with his qualifying pass, smooth as silk and as fast as anyone. Camden isn't going to be someone to mess with in this competition.
Now, a slight bobble in the turn, but that obviously didn't hinder him much as he crosses the finish line with a time of 26.48. That will slot him into 4th. Now let's look at Tristan England in that awesome new JCB-sponsored Digatron machine.
Tristan, being a former World Racing champion and last year's runner-up in the finals, is definitely going to make him a favorite here tonight.
Ever since entering stadiums, I don't think we've seen a driver improve as much as Tristan has. He's laying down a blazing fast pass right now, taking the corners tighter than anyone else we've seen. That is going to reflect well in his time as he crosses the finish line with a 26.33, and that will land him the third fastest qualifying time of the evening.
Second fastest qualifier of the night is the man that beat Tristan just a few short months ago in Los Angeles at the World Finals. Zach Garner bringing out the always fast wild side, showing these veterans how it's done.
He's so consistent swinging that truck around those corners with the wide stance of the truck. He is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with on this tour.
Coming around the final corner, he's flat tracking it towards the finish line, one of the smoothest passes of the weekend, and he finishes with a time of 26.28, just 5/100ths of a second faster than Tristan England.
He's a real fast kid, Mark, but no one this weekend was as fast as that man right there, the 2012 Young Guns Shootout champion, Bari Musawar in Zombie.
We've been watching Barrio since his days in Spider-Man, and I don't think there is a more consistent driver out there, and he's showing us right now that he is bad fast and can win this entire thing.
Coming over the last jump before the final turn, he's just making this track look easy, Mark. I don't think anyone is going to want to line up against him tomorrow as he crosses the finish line with a 26.16 putting Zombie in that number one spot going into tonight's racing competition. Let's see where our other drivers placed and see who will make the racing bracket.
Now, we just saw Bari take home that fastest qualifier position, and two notable names round out the top six: Tyler Meninga in Gravedigger and Ryan Anderson in Son-Uva Digger. Closing out our top 12, and we see some very fast racers still in this bracket. Cody Saucier, Todd LeDuc, and Cole Vennard have all won on big stages before, and I know they each won another piece for the mantle.
That's just the racing competitors. There are still 8 more superstars who missed out on a chance at the racing bracket who will battle it out in the two-wheel skills competition. There will be a battle for the top between the veterans with Jim Kohler, Charlie Pauken, and Adam Anderson, all not being lucky enough to take one of the 12 spots.
Yeah, Scott, even though they don't get to go head-to-head with their peers now, they have to go out there and show our professional judges who has the most skill on two wheels. So there are still 8 points on the line, which is just what our drivers need to get back into this thing.
Let's look at our racing bracket. Now, we know Zombie, Wildside, Digatron, and Blue Thunder all got their first round bye, but let's see who their opponents will be.
First race of the night will be Chris Kohler running his new Mayhem identity, and you know, he itches to take out his opponent in the other lane, Tyler Meninga in Gravedigger, who always has a target on his back. Then we go to the Battle of the Open Seas, Todd LeDuc in Megalodon taking on a multi-year rival of his, Cole Vennard, in the Black Pearl.
At the bottom half of the bracket, we have Bryce Kenny piloting the Monster Mutt, going against the tough opponent Cody Saucier driving Dragon. Moving to what I believe will be the race to watch, Armando Castro piloting the Crazy Bull El Toro Loco, going against one of the best, Ryan Anderson in Son-Uva Digger. I don't know what to expect from these 4 races coming up. They're all toss-up matchups, Mark.
I am just excited to watch some monster truck racing. Scott, I don't care who wins. I think we're in for a treat tonight.
Let's go ahead and get down to the track and get into our racing competition. Out of Oskaloosa, Iowa, Tyler Meninga, Gravedigger, faces off against the hometown kid Chris Kohler in his new identity, Mayhem.
I'm sure Chris is really excited to get to drive this beautiful 67 Chevelle body in front of his hometown fans.
Well, the problem is he has to run it against the baddest man in the sport as Tyler takes a lead first time around the track.
Chris is still running a tight race, but just as I say that, he hits the freestyle obstacle in turn 2 and leaves the door wide open for Team Gravedigger.
Tyler takes down Chris Kohler to move on to round 2 and face Zombie. Clean racing from Gravedigger right there, Mark.
Yeah, Scott, smooth and fast around the turns on the flip side. Chris Kohler with a slight bobble in turn 2. Unlucky break, but we'll park him until freestyle.
Our next pairing is the veteran Todd LeDuc in Megalodon, lining up across from Cole Vennard and the Black Pearl. Now, Cole has had a success being a 2-time Arena Series champion back in his days in Gravedigger, but Todd LeDuc, having 2 world championships under his belt, he definitely has a target on his back.
First time around, our drivers are dead even, but a great turn from Black Pearl gives him a slight lead.
Todd clips the freestyle obstacle and it's going to send him for a wild ride. Cole will take the final jump and advance on to face Camden Murphy in Blue Thunder. Nice save there at the end from Todd, but Cole Vannard was on a rail that entire pass, and he will have to match that performance against a big gun like Camden.
Cody Saucier in Dragon comes out against the fan favorite Bryce Kenny driving the Muck.
Cody has won on a big stage before, Mark, so Bryce is a bit of an underdog in this matchup.
Yeah, but in the last few years, Bryce has gotten a lot more seat time in stadiums than Cody has, and you can tell by how he's keeping up with him the first time by.
Cody laying down a great pass in that amazing-looking Dragon machine, and over the second jump, it looks like Bryce may have a slight lead, but then he gets a poor landing.
Puck the washout right there for Bryce. That's going to give Cody this win easily, as he also takes a wild ride with a wheelie over the finish line. He will move on to face Tristan England in JCB in round 2.
No disrespect to Cody right now, but that was Bryce's race to win, Mark.
Bryce was running a fine race going around turn 2, but a poor landing on the left side gave Dragon an easy win to go to round 2.
To the final matchup of round 1, Armando Castro and El Toro Loco versus the son of the icon, Ryan Anderson in Son-Uva Digger.
Ryan is such a proficient racer here on this Chicago Oval-style racing course. Armando will have to stay fast to keep up.
This year marks Armando's first full season in stadium, so Ryan has a huge advantage in the experience category. Though Armando may be a little behind, he's still not backing off.
Going into the final turn, Armando has some ground to pick up, but Ryan is flat tracking the corner and will cross the finish line first.
A wild rollover after the finish from Armando, and we have no call on the track. We are going to have to go up to the replay system. The official call on the track is a 5-second penalty for Ryan Anderson missing the final jump, and El Toro Loco's crew will have to get that truck back to 100% for round 2.
Looking at the bracket going into the second round of racing, we see some big guns moving on with Gravedigger, Black Pearl Dragon, and El Toro Loco. We will see if Armando Castro's team will be able to go over the truck and have it ready for his matchup with Zach Garner at the bottom of the bracket.
Another race to watch will definitely be Blue Thunder versus Black Pearl, two fast racers who both want to be able to race Barry or Tyler in the next round.
Speaking of the devil, we have our fastest qualifier, R.E. Moose-Sauer and Zombie taking on Gravedigger. You know he wants to knock Tyler out of the bracket early.
Barry wants to make a statement with a win right now, but Tyler is always bat fast.
He has a slight lead over Gravedigger, but he hikes it up in the second turn, and he's on his lid heading towards the dumpster. Tyler, Meninge, and Gravedigger will take the win and advance into the semifinals, one step closer to the JCB Racing final round.
Very smooth two corners from Tyler Manning, but he was behind the first time around, so still some room for improvement there. Luckily, the safety officials shut both trucks down before either could come in contact with a wall or each other.
Our next matchup is going to be two heavyweights, Cole Vannard and Black Pearl facing off against the MJU professor Camden Murphy and Blue Thunder.
Both of these drivers are hungry for a big racing win tonight. Not many people remember, but Cole came into the sport as Adam Anderson's crew chief for Gravedigger the Legend before driving Gravedigger himself and taking home 2 Arena Tour championships. First time by around drivers are dead even, laying down great passes. This is set to be one of the best finishes of the night.
Camden has the slightest lead going into the last corner, but Cole is pushing it to the edge in the corner, maybe a little too much. He hikes it up, and Camden Murphy capitalizes, taking a win by less than a truck length. Great race from Cole, but Camden is bad fast tonight.
Advancing to the semifinals to race Tyler Meninga, Camden laid down a great pass, and I think he might win this whole thing tonight.
Give credit where credit's due. Cole was with Camden until the end, just not enough to advance.
Lining up in that beautiful dragon body, Cody Saucier draws a tough task with the 2023 World Racing Champion Tristan England driving the JCB Digatron.
Tristan, in his second year of stadiums, has become one of the most feared racers in the sport, that even Cody Saucier is an underdog in this matchup.
JCB Digatron with a half-truck length lead first time around. Cody is going to have to play some catch-up in the corners to get back in position.
A tough landing right there, and this race is going to be all JCB Digatron. Tristan England will advance into the semifinals, awaiting his opponent from the next race.
A picture-perfect lap from Tristan England, even without the bobble. Dragon wasn't going to be able to catch up. We may be seeing two potential repeats from the last two World Racing Championships coming up.
In our next matchup, we have Armando Castro in the fan favorite El Toro Loco facing off against Zach Garner, the defending World Racing Champion.
El Toro looks a little beat up coming back from his wreck in the first round, and as the truck was pulling out of the tunnel, I noticed a slight lean to the chassis. I don't know if that will come back to hinder him.
Probably a sway bar issue, Scott. If he drives carefully, he will be able to make it through the race, but he's trying to win, so we will see. Jack Garner hits the turn pot. Armando's going to have a shot at this.
Around a truck length lead for Wildside going into the final turn, and Toro is in trouble in the far lane. Armando Castro rolls the El Toro Loco over for the second time tonight in the racing competition. Zach Garner will move on to the semifinals, where he will be matched up against Tristan England once again.
Tough break for Armando, but the sway bar was definitely a problem from his wreck in the last round. Let's just hope they have the truck ready again for freestyle later in the night.
We have made it to the Final Four here tonight, and truly no surprises. Two World Championship caliber races this round, with the second pairing, Tristan England versus Zach Garner, being a rematch of our racing championship back in Los Angeles.
On the other hand, we have the best in the business, Tyler Menninger, going against the fastest man all night, Camden Murphy, in Blue Thunder. A great round of racing to get us to our final two competitors.
Our first two drivers head to the line. The legendary Blue Thunder with Camden Murphy aims to take out the black and green wrecking machine, Gravedigger and Tyler Menninger.
We are green in the semifinals of racing. Camden Murphy sliding his way through the first turn has already pulled away from Tyler Menninger the first time by. Gravedigger is not in a good position right now with Blue Thunder still pulling away. Camden Murphy is not holding back tonight.
One more sharp corner from Camden, and he shuts the door on a Team Gravedigger Racing victory tonight. A statement win from Blue Thunder, laying down the best pass of the night and advancing into our JCB final round race.
Another great race goes Camden Murphy's way. Tyler almost came back there at the end, but not enough power to take the win.
The rematch of the 2024 World Racing Championship, your reigning champion Zach Garner in Wildside, and the 2023 World Champion Tristan England in JCB Digatron. One of the best stories in Monster Jam history, from Marina Series competitor to world champion, a feat accomplished by both of these drivers.
Tristan takes an early lead first time by 2 more turns to go.
Zach is driving hard, but Tristan is on a rail, extending his lead. Wildside needs to play catch-up in the final turn.
This race is going to be all JCB Digatron. Tristan England defeats the world champ and advances to the final round for a rematch of the 2023 Racing Championship against Camden Murphy, whom he beat back in Nashville.
Solid pass from Garner, not enough to take out Tristan, but I don't think Tristan was fast enough that round to top what Camden has been doing tonight.
A spectacular night of racing boils down to one more race to see who will come out on top with 12 points to start off the tour. We already know who's in the finals, but let's see how we got here. Both Tristan and Camden came out of the second round. Camden taking out Black Pearl, then Gravedigger, and Tristan defeating Dragon and Wildside.
Both drivers are out of the tunnel and staging for the JCB final round race. Camden Murphy looking to take home another victory for the iconic Blue Thunder name, and Tristan England in JCB's flagship truck, Digatron, looks to stop Camden Murphy's domination tonight.
Out the gate, Camden is already committing to his first corner, as tight as he could possibly be.
A slight lead of Blue Thunder, but Tristan's not far behind. He has time to make up some ground.
The lead's extended now 2 truck lengths to Blue Thunder, and a poor landing for Digatron.
Camden doesn't know Tristan's out, and he pushes it too hard, clips the inside turning pod, and Tristan cracks the whip and full throttles it towards the finish, but I don't think he had enough. We are going to have to check the replay to make sure Blue Thunder hit the ramp square and also who crossed the line first. Judging from the replay, Blue Thunder clearly crosses first, and the call from the officials is he did get all 4 tires up that ramp, and that will make Camden Murphy your Path of Destruction racing winner tonight in Detroit.
A dominant victory here tonight for Camden and the Blue Thunder team, and so sweet it is capturing the first 12 racing points of the tour. As you see him doing his celebration on the floor, you know he's excited and ready to burn it down in freestyle.
Looking back through our bracket, Mark, there were some great highlights all night. Todd LeDuc's crazy save and Megalodon Armando crashing the bull in back-to-back races, and obviously our championship race with the wild ending.
Yeah, Scott, these fans have definitely got their money's worth so far. Let's check out our point standings going into our skills competition.
Every driver that qualified their way into the racing bracket automatically received 5 points to even out the totals. So Camden Murphy sits atop the leaderboards with 17 points. As you see, the earlier in the bracket you lost, the less amount of points rewarded. Chris Kohler rounds out our standings with 9 points. And let's take a look at our skills competition competitors.
Kicking off the competition is going to be Mike Pags in Excalibur celebrating 30 years, and more big guns in the first 4. Adam Anderson and Joe Foley.
Our first female in the competition, Cynthia Gauthier in Lucas Stabilizer, the Michigan native. Jim Kohler rocking that beautiful Lions paint scheme. Nick Pagliarulo in that beautiful 3D squid. Jamie Garner in Overboard, and the seasoned vet Charlie Pauken in Backwards Bob. Mike Pagliarulo is first out the gate, hailing from Deltona, Florida, the first of 2 trucks in the tomfoolery camp. We will see his brother Nick later on. I love seeing him get his own identity, and he's living up to the name and putting on a show week in and week out.
Mike has shown major improvement since getting his own full-time ride. Here he is going for a stoppie off the back of the step-up, showing great control and awareness of the track, staying away from the bus stack, kicking it into a moonwalk.
He's a little crooked going back towards the step-up, coming off the ramp sideways, and here comes a sidewall attempt. He's still going, Mark.
Multiple rotations on the side, but in the end he's on his lid, and his run is over after 1 hit. A highlight reel-worthy save attempt, but let's see the scores from our judges.
A 7.5 from our expert judge and only a 7.846 from our fan judges, which brings his final score to a 7.673, a little low on the fan scoring end, I thought, but looks like even if it's spectacular, you still have to complete the move to score high. I love that we've brought back old schemes for this tour. I mean, look at this thing.
Adam Anderson is next out, bringing back that beautiful Gravedigger, the Legend scheme. With his first attempt, he goes off the jammer into a tail-dragging wheelie over the bus stack. Comes off a little crooked, but he sets it down a nice first attempt.
I know Adam's excited to compete on this tour, but a tough rollover in qualifying seeds him in this competition.
Coming around to the other side of the track, let's see what he's lining up for.
It looks like he's lining up for a bicycle off the side of the bus stack. Not able to keep that right side off the ground. A tough weekend for Adam continues, and that run isn't going to score high in this competition by the end of it.
Unlucky second attempt for the Legend with the scores coming in. Our expert judge gave him a 7.5 on par with Excalibur, and the fans gave him a 7.624 with a final score of 7.562 that will slot him into second place.
He will have another shot next time out in freestyle. Our next competitor from the Team Scream Camp, Joe Foley in Axe, running this beautiful September 11th tribute paint for the hometown Team Scream fans. You know, he wants to put on a show with the team being based out of Columbus, Michigan.
Hitting the jammer for his first attempt into a slap wheelie, just like Anderson did. He sets it down over the bus and slaps it back onto the ground into a combo wheelie. Nice first hit, should score decent with the judges.
I think he pulled it off a hair better than Adam did. He'd make his way all the way around the track to show these fans that that awesome tribute scheme.
It is a beautiful design, and it's awesome. They whipped this up to debut in East Rutherford last year. The Detroit fans loved it at Pit Party. I think everyone is a fan. It looks like he's lining up to try a popper off the racing lane.
He gets it up onto the front 2 tires, balances it, and pulls it into a moonwalk over the racing lane, continuing on his front tires. He's going to ride the moonwalk the length of the floor, and that is what people want to see in the skills competition, something technical that someone else hasn't done yet.
And it's reflected in the score. The expert judge wasn't too impressed, giving Foley only a 7.75, but the fans giving him an 8.5. 84, he takes the lead from Excalibur with a total of 8.167.
Our next competitor in the field is the only female driver, Cynthia Gauthier, piloting the Lucas Stabilizer Semi. She's a hit with the fans, and let's see what she can do tonight.
This is for sure one of my favorite designs on the circuit. I love the Peterbilt design. Star Creations really hit it out of the park with this one.
Yeah, Mark, they did fantastic with this one. She is backing up on top of the backflip ramp, looking like she's going to do a maximum moonwalk.
She gets it off onto the front tires and rides the nose wheelie out to a little short of midfield, not able to keep her balance going back and forth, and she sets it down before rolling it. Nice first hit from Cynthia, something no one has done yet.
I don't think she held it up for long enough. She will have to do something a little better on the next attempt to take the lead from Foley.
She's lining up for a bicycle off the racing lane, gets it onto the side, but overdoes it. And as we're talking about that beautiful body, it ends up in pieces across Ford Field.
A tough rollover for Cynthia, and that isn't going to bode well with the judging at all. Getting a 6.5 from the expert and a 7.338 from the fans, netting her a 6.915, slotting her into last place halfway through the competition.
Taking a look at the leaderboards with 4 trucks left to go, Joe Foley still sits atop the scoring with his moonwalk all the way down the track, and Mike Paggs, Adam Anderson, and Cynthia Gauthier, not looking good for them. They are going to finish fairly low in the competition. Let's get back into the action with the hometown star, Jim Kohler, driving that awesome Detroit Lions scheme for the Detroit faithful.
Jim was really excited to be able to compete in this tour, and starting it off in his hometown, you know he has something special planned for these fans that have supported him for over 25 years now.
Yeah, you often hear people saying that Monster Jam fans are second to none, but to me, Jim Kohler has the best fans in the sport. They travel all over to watch him drive, and he always puts on a show, going for a bicycle off the freestyle obstacle, and he pulls it into a sidewall attempt, multiple rotations, and he ends up back on all fours. The fans are going crazy, and he still has one more move left. Let's see what he's thinking.
Joe Foley already knows his spot in the hot seat is not going to last long. Jim turns the corner, and he's aiming right for the backside of the bus and launches it over the top with a huge sky wheelie, shedding body panels on the landing. I think we just saw our new leader, Mark.
Putting on a show here in Ford Field, and no exception. There he comes out with an expert score of 8.25 and a fan score of 8.732, taking the lead away from his teammate Joe Foley and Axe with a final score of 8.491. It's going to take 2 technical moves to take the lead away from Kohler.
Our next competitor, the second half of Tomfoolery Motorsports and the older of the two Pagliarulos, Nick, brings out that awesome 3D Kraken design, another Star Creations work that the fans love to see come to their hometown.
Going up and over the FMX ramp. Looks like he's setting up for a slap wheelie across the track, riding it out as long as he can. Good first move for Kraken.
He's always been good at wheelies. You know, if he can, he'll pull one out of nowhere.
Sometimes you'll see him slap it multiple times. Really cool things he does on those speedway tracks in the summer.
Turning around, heading for the bus stack. This is something different we haven't seen yet. Lining up for a moonwalk off the bus, getting into a little trouble at the bottom of the FMX ramp, but gathers it up.
Really showing off skill, knowing how to slightly throttle the truck straight before he pulls in back into a moonwalk over the 50-yard line.
Now he hits the bus stack sideways, and that's going to send him into a sidewall save, putting it back on all fours. The fans are cheering loud for Nick Pagliarulo.
Doing everything he needed to do after Jim Kohler's great run, last truck out, bringing in the scores. We have another new leader with an 8.25 from the pro judge and a 9.016 from the fans. 8.633 is your new score to beat from Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken.
2 trucks remain in our skills competition. Jamie Garner, piloting this awesome-looking USA schemed overboard, comes onto the track and immediately hits the backside of the step-up, launching into a sky wheelie. Not as big as Kohler's leap, but enough to get the fans a little excited.
Huge leap from Garner with a tough landing on the rear. He's got the best equipment in the business, and he's showing you right there why.
I love when teams bring out these commemorative bodies. This one done by Tim Thompson is one of my favorites over the past few years. Coming around the track, looks like he's going to go over to the racing lane. Going slowly up and over, looks like it's going to line up for a reverse popper.
Gets it up onto those rear two tires, but he is angled a little off to the side, not looking like he's going to get much here. Tries to ride it out, but sets it down before he rolls it over. Not going to be near enough to take the lead. Not what Garner wanted tonight.
Not at all what he wanted, and let's look at the scores. A little lower than I expected, a 6.75 from the pro judge and a 7.746 from the fans, netting a total 7.248 will put him second to last, right behind Gravedigger the legend.
We have one competitor remaining with the door wide open for a victory. The 2010 World Freestyle Champion, Charlie Plotkin, bringing back the fan favorite backwards Bob name. He wasn't happy missing out on the racing bracket by just a few spots, but he knows he wants a win in something tonight.
Going up and over the step-up, Charlie sets it up for a moonwalk. Really odd seeing a reverse body doing a moonwalk. Really throws you off.
Charlie really honing in on his skills. Has to keep the truck pretty vertical to keep the bed sides, I guess you would call them, off the ground. But he's going to be in some trouble here.
Onto the sidewalls, he bangs that power glide into reverse and pulls a save out of nothing, setting the truck back on the ground, and Charlie just rocked the house in one move, and he's not even done yet.
As you see, Nick Pags and Kraken sitting atop the leaderboard must really be nervous here, because one more decent move from Plotkin could mean that he has to give up that trophy.
Here he goes, lining up for a bicycle off the racing lane, gets it perfectly to the side as he gasses out of it, almost hitting the wall, throws the truck to the other side, not before setting it down. Charlie Plotkin just burned this place down, and there is no doubt he is going to be walking out of here with a trophy tonight.
What a run right there, Scott. Not one sidewall save, not two, but three sidewall saves in one run. That is what the judges want to see. And Charlie Plotkin is going to walk out of here with 8 points in the skills win, putting him right back into the fight for the points championship.
9.081 is the score for Plotkin. The fans in Detroit have been treated to an awesome showing tonight. Let's look at the skills standings.
Obviously, we just watched Charlie Plotkin burn down the house with that awesome skills run, netting him 8 points. Nick Pags taking second, and Jim Kohler taking the last podium spot.
Joe Foley and Axe finishes fourth. Mike Pags finishing fifth without landing a single move. Adam Anderson in the legend. Very disappointed with his performance so far. You know he can't wait for freestyle. Jamie Garner and Cynthia Gauthier round out the field. Let's look at the point standing halfway through the event. Camden Murphy sits atop the rankings with 17 points after defeating Tristan England in the final round of racing. Digatron is in second with 16 points. Wildside and Gravedigger, losing in the semifinals, receive 15 each.
El Toro, Loco, Dragon, both knocked out in round 2, received 13 points each. Black Pearl and Zombie both getting 13 points as well.
Two big guns who will bring it in freestyle, losing in the first round. Ryan Anderson and Bryce Kenny have some ground to pick up to get to the top. Megalodon and Mayhem round out the top 12 with 9 points respectively.
Charlie Plotkin and the rest of the two-wheel skills competitors cap off the standings halfway through tonight's event.
That's going to be it for us in tonight's episode. Next time out, we will see the entire 20-truck field take on this awesome Detroit freestyle track for 20 more points on the road to the Superstar Challenge in New Orleans, Louisiana. I am AI Scott Douglas with my co-host AI Mark Schroeder, and we will see you next time out.